Thursday night, a qualifying final, Collingwood and Melbourne. Lloydie, how do the Pies win with this one?
How they win it, Nat, is speed, speed, speed. That's what they must have against Melbourne, because Melbourne are the best defensive side in the competition. And if you let Lever and May and these types get set behind the ball, you can't score. And so Collingwood just have to go aggressive, as they always do in their game. They couldn't quite get this to happen on King's birthday, where they were stifled and they set up so well behind the ball with Gawn, Lever and May, and they couldn't score enough. Melbourne went on and won that game of footy. They got it going late, but it was too late. So I just think the names we've got, De Goey, Crisp, Dacos won't play, obviously, but Josh Dacos will be there. Noble, Quaynor, Maynard, they just have to go and try and turn these defenders inside out to give them the best chance of scoring.
So, Damo, if the Pies falter this final series, what is the big story that we're all going to be talking about?
So you're giving me the doom scenarios out of this today.
Doomsday, that's
now,
your
look,
job.
there's too much at stake now to not win, and I don't mean to say that lightly, Nat. The dominance they've had in the home and away season, 18 wins this year, 16 wins last year when they got it right halfway through, and obviously the finals being lost last year by a kick on both occasions, the 6-point loss to the Geelong team in the qualifying final, the 1-point loss in the prelim final. They just have to go all the way through this year. There's too much going right for it not to be capitalised on.
All right, let's look at the D's now, and Lloydie, how do they topple the Pies?
Well, to me, they're the toughest side in the competition. They're brutally tough, and I think that's why they're there, and that's why they're in such great form heading into the final series. And I just wonder, have they got too much depth for Collingwood through the midfield without Nick Dacos? So, you know, I'd love to run out with Jack Viney in a final. I'd love to run out with Petrarca, Oliver. Max Gawn, to me, is the best ruckman in the comp, but he wasn't All-Australian because they didn't get him into the ruck on his own till 7 or 8 weeks ago. So I think that the brutality of their side and their pressure and their midfield is why they can potentially beat Collingwood in this game.
It's going to be such an intriguing contest. Cannot wait for it. But if the Pies, the D's, falter again in the final series, what's the narrative going to be for them?
We'll be asking the question, do they just get hot in the latter stages of 2021 and obviously breeze through that year's final series? They didn't deal with the expectation last year. They started well, fell away, held on, but ultimately weren't near winning a premiership. And then this year they've ground out a really good home and away season when things got a little bit dicey halfway through, 3/4 of the way through. That will be the question, though. Were they just lucky in a COVID year to get hot back end of year? If they don't capitalise, to Lloydie's point, on the greats, not just Melbourne greats, but the all-time greats of Gawn, Petrarca and Oliver.
So now, Damo, I want a Pies player who you think is going to step up in September, but I don't want the obvious. So I don't want a Dacos, Samora, a De Goey or a Pendlebury. So who are you going with?
Will you give me a Bros Maynard?
Yeah, why not?
Allow me that,
He's not a top five.
He's one of my favourites, Nat, and he's one of every Collingwood supporter's favourite as well. I mean, it's for this sort of stuff that he brings, the relentless tackling, the refusal to give up, the protection of the teammates, the constant looking for a skirmish, the trying the impossible when he couldn't get Pickett there, but went back and got him again with some help. So he never gives up. I love that about him, and that's what the Pies fans love too. All
right, and not so obvious D's for you.
You might find this is obvious, maybe. So I'll see what you're the judge. But
Okay,
Jake Lever.
I'll allow it.
Oh, you'll allow it. Yeah. So I think that for me, if you can shut down Myercheck and you can shut down Jamie Elliott, where do they get their goals from? So they often get a lot of inside 50s, Collingwood, but they can't generate enough scores for what they do. And this man is like the brick wall. He reads it so well. So Stephen May's the type to take a Myercheck. Somebody else could take a Jamie Elliott and he'll just sit in front of them all day long. So they have to, if he gets his game going, they're hard to stop.
This game is a toss of a coin, but I need a tip.
Melbourne.
Collingwood.
Collingwood for mine as well.